Welcome back to Way of the Wrench, and on today's very special episode I'm going to show you a new product from Lance from pinballcabinet.com that allows you to fill in the gaps on the sides of your playfield and incorporates a new mount to be able to hold all that so that we have somewhere to attach our LED playfield side strips. So stick around, you're not going to want to miss it. So now it's time to start putting our addressable LEDs into our virtual pinball cabinet. And I do want to have side LED playfield strips. However, I don't have anything to attach them to, and there is a bit of a gap to fill between the monitor and the inside of the cabinet. So I was going to design something, but then Lance from pinballcabinet.com said that he'd already been working on something and asked if he could send it to me. So let's take a look at what he sent me. Okay, looking at his kit, it looks like they've redesigned the monitor mounting board. Looks like same mount holes and a couple slots for cables and wires. However, it looks a little wider, and that's probably to get this closer to the inside of the cabinet. And then we've got some pieces here that are going to fill in the sides of where the monitor goes. Now, I'm noticing there's some extra pieces here. So one side of the TV has nothing on it, so that'll be for this bigger piece. And the other side has, right in the middle, there's a little bulge where there's the power button and stuff. So it looks like he's got some kind of spacer shims that would go in there to have a spot for that section on that monitor. So this would shoot out like that. So it does kind of suck for me that I'm going to have to sand and repaint this and remount the monitor on here, because I've already got mine done. However, I do think that this is a very cool business practice for Lance, that he is continuously trying to improve his product for an ultimate best product for you guys when you buy this. So props to you for that, Lance. So off camera, I am going to give all of these pieces a light sanding and give them a couple coats of black paint, and then get this ready for assembly, which I'll show you more in detail in a bit. Now that these are sanded, we have two different sides of the playfield. The right side of the cabinet gets this 1-inch thick piece, and then the left side has the little lump where the power and the remote switch is on the side or the bottom of the table, which is on the left. So to make up the difference, they've got a 3/4 inch piece, and then we've got these little, what is this, 1/4 inch or so MDF pieces to be able to go around that sensor. So we just have to glue these on. So what I would do is get yourself some wood glue, get yourself a bunch of these clamps, or worst case scenario, you could literally just use the 3M clamp, which is masking tape. Just pull really tight when you attach it. And a flat piece of wood. We're just going to use the other side for now, so that when we glue these on, we can literally put this like this, and this flat surface will keep these edges nice and tight, which is the top surface we're going to see. So let's go ahead and put this on. And there is a notch cut out here. You're just going to match it up with the notch on the other end here. Put the glue on, give it a nice little rubbed glue, kind of move it around a bit, make sure the glue goes right to the edges. Line it up on the end, and then we're going to put it on the board, make sure it's lined up on the end, and then go ahead and put some clamps, and go ahead and do the other side. So let's get started. Okay, since this cutout here has to go to the front of the cab so it can clear your flipper buttons, this side here is going to go where the TV remote bump is on the left side of the cabinet. So make sure that when you glue this up, that this MDF little chunks are going on this side. It's really important. If you glue it on the wrong side, you'll be redoing it. So just move it back and forth, make sure the glue goes all the way to the edges. It's called a rubbed glue joint. Any spots that don't get glue, peel it back, put some more glue in. You don't want to have a glue-starved joint. And then to hold this together, everybody has masking tape, so we're going to use the 3M masking tape clamp. Just put your piece of straight tape right there. Make sure it's lined up on the end. And make sure this top surface is flush. And then when you go to put the tape down, kind of pull on it so it's kind of got a little bit of elasticity to it. Pull on it before you put it down, and that will help kind of keep it clamped nice and tight. Same thing on this side. And that's okay if it's shifting around now. We're going to clean this up and make sure that it is in the right spot before we finish and leave it to set. Okay, and then just make sure that that front edge here where we're going to put that LED strip and what you're going to see cosmetically on the cabinet is flush before you let this set up and harden up. And now if you don't want to use the masking tape and you have a bunch of these, you can go ahead and clamp them too, but not everybody's got 8 or 10 of these kicking around, but everybody's got masking tape. Okay, once you got this one side done, really double check you got the right one done. So front of the cab like this is the left side. This is where that notch is going to be, so we're good to go. Okay, go ahead and put your glue down on this side now. All right, now before you let this set, make sure that the side that goes facing up is nice and flush, right to the end. And great time to do a final wipe of any glue so you don't have a whole bunch of mess to chip off and sand off when it dries tomorrow. Okay, and then at this point, go ahead and leave this for 8 hours so that it can set, or overnight, and then take the masking tape off and give it another sand. Okay, because I'm super picky, I'm going to take the extra little time and effort and fill in any little voids in the edge of the plywood, and then when this dries, probably next day, I'm going to sand this again and make sure these are absolutely mint before I paint them. Okay, once you've got your pieces painted black, you're going to take the longer end here. This is going to be the front of the cab. And where these little cutouts are, this has got to go to the left side of the monitor. And then we're going to start with our solid 1-inch piece. With this little cutout for the front flippers is going to be facing this way. And what we need to do is we need to get a board. Any flat board will do. Put it against the edge here. And then we want the end of this rail to go right up against it. And then we also want the edge of this board to be flush with this. So get yourself another piece of wood and kind of just line it up so it is even with the edge of the board underneath and flush with the front of the board like that. Okay, once you've got that flush, you're going to take some clamps and clamp this down. Okay, double check that you're flush with the front. And double check that you're flush here. And then we need to screw this or nail it into the board here. So we're going to carefully flip this over so we don't disturb the position. And then lay out a couple screw holes. So for me, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 will probably be the trick. I don't think we need any more than that. It's probably already overkill. All right, so I got screws 2 inches from the ends, and then from those ones 5 inches in, and then 1/2 inch in from the edge. So that'll center it in the center of this. Okay, I'm just using some 8 by 1 1/4 inch long Robertson construction screws. You can use whatever you have, but this is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to pre-drill my holes here so I'm not splitting any of the plywood, especially since we're going in on the edge there. And I got a little tape here to mark how deep I go so I don't go through. Okay, once you've done that side, take the clamps off and flip it over for the other side. So now the cutout for the front flippers once again goes to the front, and we want this cutout going towards where the TV is going to be, and it's the same exact process. Probably not a bad idea to actually just check and make sure that your monitor is going to fit, and looks like there's just a little bit of clearance, so that's going to be awesome. Sweet, time to mount the monitor. So since I've already got my pivot dowel rod already installed, I'm just checking to see if the new board's any different, and it is exactly the same length. just a little bit wider. The front's the same width, the cutouts are actually kind of in the same spot, and the holes are all the same. So I should be able to measure where this dowel rod is and basically put this exactly where it is on the new one, and it should be exactly in the same position. Sweet. So for my build, the dowel is 1.5 inches from the back of the board, so that's where I'm going to put it on the next one. And for those of you just checking in and trying to learn how to mount your stuff here, if you are wanting to know how any of this got put on, you can just go back in the previous video and I'll put a link above to it. Woohoo! And in with the new. Okay, make sure the ends of the dowel are even on both sides before you tighten down your clamps. And look at that, the Velcro lines up perfectly too. All right, cool, time to put it back in the cab. Hey, there we go. Now I've got something to mount my LED strips to. All right, cool. Now that we have something to put our LED strips on, I am once again going to be using the Muzata LED light strip diffuser holders. It's got a nice kind of like smoked plastic cover that goes over top, so you can't really see the LEDs too much when this is off, and it makes it look a little slicker. So my last build I had to use the whole thing, but this one is a bit shorter. So I think I'm going to end it with the TV on both ends. So I can go ahead and mark this and cut this. Then we'll use double-sided tape like we did last time to attach it to these new rails. All right, now that those side rails are in, I'm kind of looking at it from a cosmetic point of view, and I'm a really picky guy. I don't like the look of the little hole where the sensor area is for the TV. Kind of dispels the illusion a lot for me. Plus, the unfinished plywood edge kind of doesn't look all that great either. So, to kill two birds with one stone, I have some textured plastic strips that I was going to use on my budget build virtual pinball cabinet, and I didn't end up using them. So, I think they're going to work perfect. I'm going to put these along the side here, give a nice uniform texture, and cover up that spot for where that sensor is. Now, I would recommend that you put that down there and that Muzata diffuser rail, and see if you can operate your TV, which I still can. And so we're going to put these in, and then we can go ahead and put our Muzata strips in. Now for these Muzata diffuser rails, I've cut it down to the length of the monitor, so it looks good that way. And the other thing before I put this down is that on the bottom side of the TV, the bezel is just a little bit thicker, about 1/8 of an inch, than the top of the TV. And when you're looking at the front, that means the left is thicker than the right. And so once again, that you're gonna see this on some really nice bright tables. So what I'm gonna do is when I go to attach this down, I'm going to slightly cover up that bezel on the bottom or the left side to make it so that they're even, and then that'll look a lot better. So let's go ahead and put that down. So on this side, I put it right against, just covering the edge of the TV. Woohoo! I'm pretty happy with how that looks. And don't forget, if you've got your protective screen still on your LG, which I am keeping on until the very last second, I've just peeled it back a little bit so that I don't have any problems with it sticking to this. Moving on to the lights. Now this is part of a kit from Cleveland Software Designs. Thank you very much, Philip, for sponsoring this video. It is part of his addressable LED plug and play kit. Now what I'm holding here is a 144 LED per strip WS2812B LED strip, and it comes with 2 of them in the kit, so we got one for the left and one for the right. And Also included in the kit is your choice of how many matrix panels that you want. This time I'm going with HD panels, so they're 16 by 16, and I'm going to go with 6 of them. And then you also get all of the wiring, you get a 5-volt 10 amp power supply, and you also get an LED controller with your choice of brain on board. And this time we're going to go with Wemos. More details in the next video. So I'd lay this strip down into the channel and figure out where you want it. Now keep in mind that these LED strips have an arrow with the direction of where the data is coming from and where it's going. So I want the arrow going down because the controller is going to be up here. And I want it basically kind of last LED kind of lining up with the end of the monitor. And then I do have about this much extra on the end that I don't need. So I'm going to end up just cutting that off. And I'm going to cut it in between one of the pads so that worst case scenario, if I have to extend onto it, or if I choose to run this LED and wire it so that it flows back up the other side, I can choose to do that later. However, that Wemos board has 10 ports, so we should be able to do both of them separate, left and right. Now when you're ready to put this in, you peel back the blue sticker and there is some double-sided tape that's going to allow you to stick that down in here. I'd recommend cleaning the bottom of the channel with some isopropyl alcohol to make sure it sticks really well. Then when you're ready, you can go ahead and put the diffuser strip in and start it at one side and then kind of push the other side in on one end. And then you just slowly work your way up. This plastic's pretty fragile, so don't rush it. Also, don't force it. Take a look, make sure you're doing it right. Okay, when you're done that, do the other side exactly the same. All right, now since we've cut these LED strips, technically we have power and ground sitting right here, so I don't want anyone to get zapped. So I'm gonna very carefully and neatly take a glue gun and kind of cap that. That way we won't have anybody getting a zap. Now, if you are planning on saving space for your ports on your LED controller, you may want to solder your red, white, and green for your power, ground, and signal to go from the end of this strip nice and neatly under the front of the monitor to the other side, solder it to that side, and then you can have the data strip going up the other way, and you could treat this all as one long one, and then in the program tell it that it's the separate sides. And if you have no idea what I've just talked about, I will post a link to my other video in my budget vpin build where I showed you exactly how to do all that. All right, there's a wrap in another video from Wear the Wrench, this time on how to install your updated playfield monitor mount from pinballcabinet.com. If you have any questions about what I did in the video, feel free to put a comment down below and I'll help you out as much as possible. What's next? I think we're going to move right along to the next matrix at the back and start looking at the mount from pinballcabinet.com for that as well. If you haven't already, why don't you join us on Instagram? That way you can see what's going on in this cool shop in between videos. Till next time, take it easy.